Hi, welcome to your neighborhood pharmacy.
Hi, I've got a prescription for diabetes test strips. How much is the copay?
Well, it depends on your type of commercial insurance and factoring in your yearly spend, subtracting the deductibles, also depending on your monthly allowance.
Why can't there be a better option?
Or you could try Contour Next test strips. A 35 count's only $19.99 over the counter and proven to be highly accurate. Go to contournext.com/radio to see if over-the-counter strips are a more affordable option for you.
I think I'll try Contour Next.
Offer deadline on Oak Street, aisle 3.
Welcome to the housing market. I'm with Redfin, and I'm here to help.
I need to sell my house.
Great. Redfin charges a 1% listing fee when you buy and sell with us, which is more than half off the usual fee, and saves you an average of $8,400.
Oh, wow. Is that all?
Yep.
I'm kidding. You had me at 1%.
Want to win? Sell with Redfin. It's real estate done right.
Bidding war at the offers counter in 5 minutes.
Average savings is Redfin refund plus 1% listing fee. Subject to minimums. Not available in all areas. Learn more at redfin.com.
Hi there. I'm Adam Kirbas, and this is the second episode of our podcast, Political Science. Of course, we all dream about making the dent in the universe, dream about bring about change, bring about people prosperity, and everything we imagine which would help the people. And of course, we all mostly think that only we and only we can deliver, that we would know the answer, and that if you would go to politics, you only have to follow your dreams, your passion. You only have to get things done if you want, and it would be always as simple as it is. And sometimes we see in politicians a lack of determination, we see a lack of passion, and so on and so on. So as a young student or as a young man, woman, whatever, you always have this ideal vision that you can bring about change, can help people. And of course, we would not do this just for ourselves. We would do this for others, for the people, and bring about freedom, prosperity, whatever you have. Today we will talk about, if you want, inner political mechanisms. In that sense that we have to ask ourselves, can one person alone, in our days, can one person alone bring about change? Is it as we want to think about that? Is there one person in lead, and this person then decides what we are supposed to do, what is the right way, and so on? And of course, the big question is politics, as simple as it is, so that you can do whatever you want if you want. Is it like that way? I mean, we will again talk partially about Austrian politics, because Austria is a parliamentarian democracy, and this means that there's the sole power is in the hands of the parliament. The president is some sort of has a symbolic and a representative power. And this political system is pretty much common throughout the world. It is very popular in continental Europe. Whereas in the US, you have a procedural system. However, you have to be aware that the American president partially has not as much power as Congress or the Senate. So in America, it is again some sort of the president is in the center of all attention, yes, but a lot of power lays in Parliament and in the Senate, as well as in the House of Representatives and the Senate as well. However, I think that this example from Austria will help us to understand how political inner mechanism works, and we will not partially talk about two political parties fighting each other, but rather talk about one political party and its inner mechanism. How can you some sort of accomplish something? How can you come on top inner political lead, and we have a lot of examples in Austria where people became leaders under certain circumstances. I mean, imagine that imagine you are a young man, you want to accomplish something, you want to do something with the world, and then you join a political party. This is very common. This is at least what we assume. People are the ideal version, that someone has an idea, that someone wants to bring about change. Of course, the reality is way more different in that sense, that most people grow up with the party. Or if you only imagine in the US, I mean, if your parents are Republican, if your parents are Democrats, and if they are invested in the party, in the Democrat or the Republican party, then you most certainly will become Republican as well. And this is not only your choice. Life is never about choices. No, this is about habits, and as well about advantages, because parties, this is what you see in the US as well, are always have a lot of support, financial support, donations, and so on. And with this support comes influence from businesses and so on, but as well as that you yourself gain influence, or you yourself gain advantages. Let me be more clear about this. I mean, if your parents are heavily invested in the Democrat Party, in the Republican Party, then this means that a lot of businesses put their ballot with this party. A lot of business owners and so on support a certain party, support a certain presidency, and so on, and they some sort of will ask something in return. Yet if your parents are in this party, you will get something out of it as well. And this means business relationships. There is a unholy alliance, if you want, between the business class and the political elite, and this is what you can pretty much see in the US. This is no party is an exception. I mean, if you only see how much money the Republican as well as the Democrat Party gets from those businesses, this is something you mostly see in elections for the American presidency, how much donations those candidates get, even though they are Democrats and so on. So presidency at all has to do with a lot of money, but as well as with a lot of relationships, with a lot of things, and so on. So this means if your parents are heavily invested in a party, then you most certainly will go along with this party, because there might be some economic influences. You might get a job more, and so on. You will have more opportunities. This is what we always know. For example, some businesses are more Democrat-leaning, some businesses are more Republican-leaning, and so on. So there is a lot of division within the society. This is not only in the news channels, but as well as in real life world as well, and everyone some sort of goes for an advantage. So in that sense, this thing that people would some sort of go into politics for a passion is not always true. Of course, we have to admit that people indeed want to bring about change, that people put in a lot of effort because they care about the people, because they want to accomplish something. We will not diminish this, not at all, but we have to be more realistic in saying that a lot of decisions for politics has some sort of an egoistic purpose, and you are in a way born in it. You grew up with it. In Austria, for example, if you are in the socialist youth, then you most certainly will later join the party or will support the party. But why? Because you have already your friends there, all your friends, your family are there, and if you would some sort of abandon the party, you would abandon your social network, the people you grew up with, and so on. So there is a lot of there is statistics which prove that we most certainly our friends are most certainly those with whom we grow up with. So now you go into politics for what reason, for whatever, then we would of course assume that the moment you come in, that you can have ideas and that you can easily bring them about, and then you can easily accomplish something. And what it means is just ambition and determination. Of course, it is not that simple and that way, because mostly we assume if we are held back, then mostly we are held back by the opposite party. Mostly we are those people who politically oppose us. They are mean, they mean us harm, they want to destroy us and so on. But never do we see obstacle in our own party, in our own political brand, if you want. Why is it? Because politics has a lot to do with how you present yourself. This is what we talked about the last time. This is how you present yourself, how you make yourself presentable, and this has to do with a lot of advantages you can gain. Nevertheless, no matter what everyone says to you, politics comes always with advantages, and even if it is for the sake of being known, even with this you can make money and so on. And in a political party there are always many strings who want attention, who just want a different kind of politics. We mostly see this on the TV when the youth or the youth club of a party, or the young folks within a party, some sort of oppose the grandees, are against them, or wanna push for more changes, whatever it is. This is some sort of two strings or many strings within a party pull towards an opposite direction. And of course every one of these people who will wanna or is vying for power. This is what politics are about: power, about influence, and about one's self. So this means if you go into politics, you most certainly have to watch your back in that sense. So your enemies might not be ahead of you, but probably even are behind you. Behind you, in that sense that you could fall prey, and we have a lot of examples of this, fall prey to inner party quarrels, to inner party obstacles, and so on. So politics in that sense always demands from you not only to be a good speaker, of course we will assume, but as well as to be able to talk to people in your party. Why? Because everyone in a party, like we said, everyone wants to get ahead, everyone wants to accomplish something, and you as a politician most of the time do not attack your opponent or whatever, but mostly some sort of mitigate the tension within your own party. People who could be scares of you and so on. And this takes a lot of convincing. And this is for someone who is outside of politics not quite understandable. Yeah, but they are the same party, and we assume there's only one boss and one chief, and this chief gives an order. This is how we assume. This chief gives an order, the commander-in-chief, and everyone obeys it, and well, what's the matter? We assume this. However, it's not that clear in reality, and it is not that simple in reality, especially if you work in a group. We all know this. If you work in an office, if you work in school, if you work with friends or whatever, then you see that you always have to some sort of negotiate. You have to come to an agreement with your own people. You have to do a lot of convincing. convincing in order to get something accomplished. Hannah Arendt once said, power means to accomplish something in unison. This is true for politics, because politics does not work like one man, one ruler dictates away and everyone obeys it. This is only in authoritarian regimes or in dictatorships. Democracy does not work in that way. However, this thing, some sort of would one not only see as a negative aspect, because if you're someone who is outside the box, the political box, what it seems, some sort of, you would of course be disenchanted. You would say, yeah, these people, there is a lot of inner fighting, there is a lot of things going on inside the party, and they probably never get things done because they have to fight each other and so on. But this may sound negative. However, from an inner political perspective, this is indeed something positive. Positive in that sense that you make compromises, that you, for example, cannot force your own way through something, but have to talk with other people, have to come to an agreement with other people. This compromise is necessary in one sense to mitigate tension, not only in your own party, but as well as with other people, because the more you get used to negotiating, the more you some sort of succeed in making compromise, the more you can mitigate violence, so that you some sort of avoid getting at each other's throat with knives or whatever, because we all some sort of know these scenes from parliamentarians in third worlds or whatever, that they start getting each other, fighting each other in parliament and so on. And this conversation some sort of can mitigate power. It can help some sort of making politics a non-violent area where only the word alone, if you want, causes violence. But however, we know that too, especially after those occurrences in the US, after those occurrences of the Trump presidency, we know that words alone can cause a lot of violence as well. But the other way is true as well. That leftists, they are not innocent in that matter. This is something we should take into consideration as well. However, and these compromises are indeed in a way necessary to make the system of politics work, especially if to some sort of a peaceful society, peaceful together. And this is something we mostly do not associate with politics. We always see the shining glow, if you want. This was before Trump. This was the Obama presidency. Everyone thought, then comes Obama. After this, after George W. Bush, then everything will be better, and so on. So everyone had a lot of expectations, hopes, and so on. They were not fulfilled. Those hopes fall flat, because in the end, the Obama presidency was not significantly different. So we did not bring change at all. So people get disenchanted, got disillusioned, and so on. However, but we always see this shining glow. So one leader, and he has all this support, he has all this thing, and we would never associate politics with the ability to negotiate, with the ability to accomplish something in unison, and that this can be painstaking. Of course, the European Union is a great example for this. Things go not well. People, there's too much negotiation, too much compromises, especially when it comes to solve issues, when it comes to problems. If you have to discuss a lot, if you have to talk things a lot, things last too long. This was, for example, the reason why in ancient Rome, in times of crisis, the Senate would elect one dictator. This dictator dictator then would some sort of make decisions fast, because in the ancient world they pretty much understood when everything is at stake, you cannot much negotiate, or you cannot waste time with negotiation. You need one person in charge, and this is mostly the person who leads the military. He has to be in charge. He has to make fast decisions, and so on and so on. So we some sort of have adopted this point of view, one in lead and so on. However, politics in that sense, if you work with other people, if you work in a group and so on, this does not work. Why? If you would go along in a group, and we all know this from school, from bullies and so on, if you would try to bully your way in a group so that only you succeed, or that only your thoughts and dreams are being followed, then you will most certainly lose support in your group, or you will only have yes sayers surround you, people who actually do not care, but just token member of a group, so that you can say that we are a group or whatever. You have this some sort of in dictatorships or in authoritarian system regimes where some ministers whatever are, if you want, nothing different than puppets, and they some sort of follow the line and so on. However, in a politics leadership, and this is something, leadership some sort of means that you can convince other people, and of course leadership means that you can accomplish a good compromise which could help you to bring forward an idea, a plan, whatever. However, what we want to talk here is negative compromise, because this is something we have to make aware as well, and this is that this can backfire. If you backfire in that sense that compromises can some sort of firstly slow processes down. This is which is pretty much happening in the European Union, why people are disillusioned, and compromises in a way can result not in the best solution of an issue, of a problem, but rather in the most, if you want, the most unimaginable, or you go on to or you come to a solution or an agreement which is actually only accepted by all because it doesn't mean anything, or because it is of no harm to anyone. This leads us to Austrian politics, and especially in some parties in Austria, there are party leaders come forward. Party leaders who actually, if you really look at them and see them and see the abilities, or see what they or evaluate, if you want, their accomplishment as politicians, then you see these party leaders, they are actually, they do not have this charisma, if you want. So this, what many politicians should have, is this charisma to encourage people, to draw attention, to be able to talk, to have some sort of a pleasing nature, and this ability that people associate with you, that people some sort of admire you, and so on. This is what we would assume with great charisma, and many politicians in our time, they some sort of miss them, or we miss them in a way, this ability, and only a few really have this ability. However, and there we see that in some countries always some party leaders come up front who actually are really missing these abilities. Not only these abilities of speaking or being a great speaker or whatever, but as well as this ability to some sort of keep the party together, this ability to accomplish something in unison. So we all know this, that let's say in the US, if a president cannot make pressure or cannot pressure his party members in Senate or in the Congress to some sort of back a bill or whatever, or if he cannot get things done, for example, against the opposition of his own party, then we would assume, this is a weak president. Then we would assume this is a president who actually has not this ability. What is what you need as a politician to accomplish something in unison, especially to convince your own folks, your own party members that your way is the truth, that your way is some sort of thing, is the better way, is necessary, and so on and so on. And there we saw, and there we see that these people somehow came on top, and this is what you would some sort of call irrational, because the most rational thing would be that the most capable person within this political sphere comes on top, and then he is the best leader. If you want the best or the most capable person always is on top, the most capable person then accomplishes something, and this is how we select the best leaders and so on. However, like we see this, what we saw many times is, it is not the case, and this has to do with a lot of compromises within the party, and this ends up that these people who come on top are actually the result of those compromises. Why? Because a political party has always many strengths. This is, you can either hate the idea of a political party or you love it, whatever it is. A political party, this is what you see in the US with Democrats. There is a far left fractions within the party, as well as moderate fractions within the party. The same you have with the Republicans. There are moderate Republicans and very conservative Republicans. Those conservatives, they call themselves even conservatives. However, this is what you see very significantly, and this means that if you want to bring those various strands together, you need to have some sort of support from all those people, from all those fractions. All those fractions, let's say the Republican Party, the conservatives and the moderates, they have to some sort of abide by you. They have to support you. They have to see in whatever is your presidency as valuable. They have to appreciate you, and so on and so on. So in politics, you have to be able not only to talk with your peers, but as well as to those bases of those Republicans. You have to some sort of make compromises. If you're too moderate, you have to give something to the more conservative branch of the party, some commitments or some tokens, whatever you want. This is what you always see before elections. I mean, if a moderate Republican goes wants to become president, then he always tries to some sort of present himself as well as a little bit of conservative. He always tries to some sort of gain the conservative part of the family as well, and the same is vice versa. If you have a very conservative Republican, then he will some sort of try to gain the moderates as well. This is always how you present yourself and how you can sort of combine all those strengths. And between those strangers, or between those fractions within a party, of course, there is some tension. This is what you would assume. For example, this is what you saw recently in the Democrat party in the US. There is some tension between those people around Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and of course those people, those more moderate ones, you would assume is, for example, Chuck Schumer and so on. So there is some tension, and every one of these fractions wants to have influence in determining who becomes the next president, who has more influence in Congress, Senate, and so on and so on. So this is indeed a big issue, and this is what you saw recently. I mean, in the election of Joe Biden, where I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez actually said that in Europe, which is actually true, that in Europe, Joe Biden and she would not be in the same party. This is true because for European standards, if you would compare this to Germany, then it is most likely that Joe Biden would be some sort of rather centrist, a liberal centrist, whereas Ocasio-Cortez would most certainly be part of the Communist Party in Germany. So they would not be in the same party. So in that sense, there is some tension within the fraction. There is tension within a party. There is tension within those fractions, and you as a leader have to combine them. And everyone and every fraction in a party, some sort of wants their man on top. Like, for example, the far left fraction within the Democrat Party, they want Bernie Sanders on top. The moderates succeeded and got Joe Biden and so on. And these fractions, some sort of eye each other suspiciously. And they will try, and this may sound in a way stupid or some sort of a self-inflicted wound, but this is what politics is about as well. And those fractions will partially prevent the other part of the party or the other fraction within the party to succeed. This was happening, for example, in Austria, where in some parties where some fractions, they would even spread nasty rumors or whatever about the other fraction members, just to get them out of the way, get them out of the party, and so on, so on. So especially if they are popular. So this means if one member of a fraction is very popular, you would, let's say, Ocasio-Cortez is very popular in the far left fraction of the Democrat Party, then it would be normal that the moderates within her own party would try to weaken her, try to destroy her, and so on. So this is very common. This is what you have in the Republican Party as well. Those moderates are, especially after the Trump presidency, they had to fear a lot of things. They had to be careful and so on. Let's say, for example, Mitt Romney. We all know those attacks against Mitt Romney from the Trump base and so on. So those fractions, there's a lot of tension and so on. So, but then, how can we explain that people come on top who actually are not supposed to be? So this is because of those fractions that you some sort of find a compromise candidate. This means this is not the best solution. So in a way, those fractions, they come together. If you want to say it very simply, those different and various fractions within a political party come together and they then agree on who is the least dangerous man or woman in our party, so that we can some sort of go away, or that we can even keep the status quo. This is irrational in that sense, but it has been done so that the least desirable person, the least person who can be a threat of us, this person should be nominated for president, and or this person should then get our support and so on. This is what happened in Austria, for example, with many within the Social Democrat Party. So those people, they came together, they always decided for the one candidate whom actually people not really liked. This person did not have the abilities to bring all these people together. It did not have the abilities, according to Hannah Arendt, to act in unison. This person was not even a good speaker, was not even a charismatic or whatever. However, still became the head of the party. Why? Because he was of no threat to those fractions within the party. But what does this mean for politics, and what does this mean for us? To understand this, I mean, this irrational behavior, because this as well as harmful behavior, because shouldn't you want that your party wins the election or whatever? However, politics in that sense has to do a lot with ego. With ego, like we said in the beginning, that people go into politics because not only because they want to bring about change, because they think they themselves and they alone can bring about change. And everyone wants to be the hero. Everyone wants to be the great savior, the great thing. Why? Because our entire society is built upon this. Our entire history about movies, what have you, the entire culture, comic books, whatever. There's always one hero. There can always be one person who is on top. There can always be one person who is the savior, and everyone there, they are either friends or foes. This is how our culture is made, and everyone wants to be that, and everyone wants to be this special person. And this is not different in politics. No matter what you say, that you want only the best of people, that you only care about people's well-being, whatever it is always about. It is always about ego as well. And this means in politics, you always have to charm the ego of other people. This is like we said the last time, that you sort of represent yourself as desirable, as adorable, or that people associate themselves with you. But and the same you have to do with people around you, with people in the political sphere. You have to charm the ego. You have to convince them, seduce them, if you want. And this is how you can get things done. We always assume that you have the politics. This is, I think, what you partially saw in House of Cards, that is always politics would be about, that you have to give someone something and they give you something in return. Well, this is half of it. What's clearly is that politics, and this is what you see now, especially with the social media, where every politician tries to make a gain, tries to be in the lamplight and so on. Politics is always about representing you, about being in the public eye and so on, and everyone wants to be the hero. And if you want to convince people around you that you are the most successful, the most capable leader, and that they have to should follow you, those people, your supporters, those people around you, then you always have to appeal to their egoistic and narcissistic self-appeal. Because then you can avoid something like this. Then you can avoid things like that. Compromise candidates come on top. And how can we sort of think about this in terms, this ego, this representation, and so on. This is what you see, for example, in the US as well. I mean, you have this. You saw this recently with Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, where she tried to some sort of where she went, I think, into a gala night with a new clothes, with a new thing and whatever, and tax the rich and what have you, which was, of course, the need for publicity, which was, of course, the will to present themselves in the public, or be publicly spoken of, be in the center of all attention. And you have then, of course, other fraction members as well, let's say Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, who want to be get and gain attention as well, because this means as well as that you can get things done or accomplish something and so on. So politics is more than just about about being about giving someone what he wants and then getting something in return. It is that you have to be able, like a general, if you want, like you are a general, and you have to be able to convince your people, the people around you, the people in your army, that this is a cause not only worth fighting for. I mean, if you are Democrat or if you are a Republican, well, if you are already part of the Democrat or the Republican Party, then I assume you do not need much convincing why it is better to fight the others. However, but what your soldiers in that sense need is that they have to believe in your ability, that you can bring about them, that you can accomplish something, and that they can be some sort of get their fame. And this is the most difficult part of it, because imagine an army. You have an army and you have to ensure every soldier of you, if you follow me, if you abide my laws, you will get your place in the spotlight, you will get your recognition, whatever it is, because this is partially what it is all about. And this is what politics in that sense is made of, and we should be careful of. And this is not only within politics, but this is as well as in our daily life. Only imagine in an office, if you are being promoted in an office or whatever, or if you're an office leader or whatever, manager, whatever, then this thing does not work, that you are the one and only ruler, and you some sort of dictate one rule, or that you dictate things that you want to be accomplished, and do not give something in return. And to give something in return really means, in a way, psychologically, that you some sort of appeal to and charm and seduce someone's appeal, someone's self-esteem, and so on, so that these people then follow you, or that you are being able to negotiate with people, so that not only that you accomplish something, or that you accomplish a task, but that in every negotiation, in everything you do as a leader, you always have to convince your subordinates that you are the leader, that you are the only sole leader. This is very, very important. So it is not that you negotiate. What we said in the beginning, that politics is very important for negotiation, or that these things, compromises, are indeed very important for negotiation. But the example of a negative development, that people come on top who are actually not capable, always demands from you that negotiation alone will not help you. No, it is how you negotiate. And in every leader, you always have to negotiate in a way that the people you negotiate with do not doubt that you are the leader, do not doubt that you should be leading this party, that you should lead this cause, or whatever, that you are the general, that you as the general of this troop, that you know best, that you know that it is the best way to some sort of perform something. And we said that it is as well as about fame. Everyone has a weak point, and this is his character. Everyone wants to be taken seriously, or being considered as something important, and so on. And this is not different in politics. So if you want to accomplish something, you have to you have to take care of this, or you have to eye this possibility as well, this appeal, this capability of negotiating something. This is what you have in a relationship as well. I mean, you can some sort of, if you have a partner, make clear that you are equals or whatever, or if some of them has done wrong, if you want, has something, or one of you has done something wrong, then you still have to talk in a way or negotiate in a way that you can put your standpoint forward. Okay, this sounds a bit complicated, but this means if you are 100% sure that you are right and that someone else has wronged you, then it is not enough that you just negotiate or talk about it. No, you have to talk about it in a way that it makes no mistake about it, or that your opposite has no doubts about it, that he or she is wrong, or that you are in charge. This is what this all means. This is what you have as a business leader. This is what these skills you need to have as a business leader, as a CEO, as a military person, whatever you have. And whenever you are in a position of leadership, those people you are subordinate must not doubt in one sense that you are their leader, even though they say, yeah, we are all equals, we are all the same. No, you're not. This is not how it works. So you have to talk in a special way. This was Adem Kebas from Ordu in Turkey, and I hope that you take all care of yourself in this pandemic. Bye.
Meet Allison, teammate at Truist Bank.
Hi.
She was born to care, and she always had your back.
You could say that.
Like that time back in the mid-'80s when she spotted Stacey Kaminsky with her new perm, and a car was coming, about to hit a puddle. So Allison jumps in front of the splash, just in time to protect Stacey's fresh curls.
Look, I had to do it. A wet perm just doesn't work.
Today, Allison's a teammate at Truist, the bank that starts with care. When you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. Learn more at truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme is everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.